Hey everybody, Rockin Robbie here. We're about to be starting, but I do want to mention once again, April 18th and 19th of 2020, this year, in Huntsville, Alabama, at the Von Braun Center. Come and see Pop Culture Philosophers at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. We'll be joined by special guest Liana Kangas, lots of other exciting guests there, Chris Claremont, Jason David Frank, Mark Wade. It's going to be an exciting show. PCP will be there. We'll have a panel, as we usually do. Brooks will be there as well. We always have a grand old time at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. We'll be ready in just a second. Get ready for a Teen Dog Shades night. Hey everybody, welcome here to Rockin Robbie Live here at Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. What's up, PCP Army? We got a few people in the chat already. Once you get in here, let me know that you're here. It's a very special night here because, first of all, I'm over my sickness, which is super excited. I am super exciting, I should say. It's very exciting, and I am super excited to be over my sickness and to have a Teen Dog Shades type of night. We're going to have a great show. We'll be taking a look at this upcoming week's new comic books. We'll be talking about Birds of Prey. We'll be talking about, well, we could talk a little bit about Lock and Key, but I still haven't seen it yet. We'll be talking about lots of exciting things. As always, I do want to thank everybody that supports us over at patreon.com/PCP. Their names are right there. 17 people now on Patreon. Very excited for that. Helping provide a positive place to discuss pop culture and more here on YouTube, of which there are plenty, of course. Tonight is a Teen Dog Shades night. We're going to get into some not-so-controversial subjects. We'll see. We'll see where the chat leads. Once you get in here, let me know what's going on, who's in here. Start your questions. Your questions drive this show. They really, really do. But I want to, once again, thank our patrons over at Patreon. Their names are right there. David, Alex, Adem, Nelson, Brian, Dean, Jason, Brian, Reggie, Robert, Javi, Peter, Dunlaney, TJ, Manmeat, Timo, and David. We got some newbies. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie, and you can join the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. That's the PCP Army. It's been a minute since we've done a live stream. Super Bowl was last week. I said the Chiefs would win. They did. So that's cool, I guess. Come from behind victory. I thought that was really, really neat. The Oscars are tonight, but, I figured, who cares? I used to care so much about the Oscars. Now I don't anymore. I used to be really, really plugged into all that stuff. And I always did really, really good at Oscar prediction parties and shit. Anyway, let's see who's in here. Let's see what the comments are. Like I said, this show is driven by your comments. We do have, some things that I have planned to talk about, but it really is driven by your comments. And the Teen Dog Shades, that signifies no holds barred. Let's talk about anything. The crazier, the better. Just no politics. We want to dig in that. You guys don't want to hear me talk about politics. Everybody in my life has to hear that. Dylan's Comics, who just recently changed his YouTube channel name from Dylan's Comic Book Rants to Dylan's Comics. That's cool. I think that's cool. But yeah, Dylan, you son of a bitch. S Squared's in the house. What's up, my man? What's up, Sam Fett? Scarpads Comic Tracks. PCP Rock On. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What's up, Robert? What's up, Samuel? Third week of following Rockin Robbie. If you read this, man, thanks. I've been trying to read more comics than I ever have done previously, and you are a big help. Well, thank you, Samuel. Glad to be of service. Reggie's in the house. The Reggie. What's up, PCP Army? How you doing? What's up, Atari? What's up, Ancient and Unique? What's up, Brian? Are the shades because of a fever dream? No, I didn't have one of those. Well, I did, but not worth discussing. I didn't write it down. You always got to write your dreams down, y'all. What's up, not Lou Ferrigno? Joaquin's Oscar. Has he won yet? If anybody is paying attention to the Oscar, let me know if he wins. I think he's going to win, but we'll see what happens. You got Hollywood. Who knows how they're going to vote? Yeah, the future is bright. Prepping my trip to Canada at the end of April. Wow, Canada. I've always wanted to visit up in there. Just got around to reading the Marvel 2099 comics. Cool stories that seemed like it wanted to tell an even better story than fizzled into nothing. That's an accurate representation. What's up, Brett? What's up, Ronnie? What's up, Brian? No, Brian, I have not seen Parasite yet. I hear really, really good things about that. I don't think I've seen many of the Oscar films this year. Yeah. It seems like most people are like, the Oscars, who cares? I used to be really into it. Like, I'm serious. Even up to like, I don't know. It probably ended for me probably about like 8 years ago or so. But from that, I stopped paying attention to movies so much. Realize you're getting older. You got less time. Do you really need to be devoting all this time to movies? No, let's devote it to comic books, right? Oh, Reggie, I want to go to C2E2. That'd be super cool. Reggie's calling out. Is anybody going to C2E2 in Chicago this month? I'm not. I'm not going to ECCC. My plans for this year, the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo, obviously. And Heroes Con, and probably back to Memphis Con. We shall see. What's up with the next issue of Batman? Lots of chatter? I don't know. I think if I had to guess, probably involving Punchline, which initially they said in Tiny Ann's newsletter, he called her Joker's new sidekick, but all the comic book media is calling her Joker's new girlfriend. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess I'm cool enough with the Harley thing, but Joker didn't need a girlfriend, whatever. But yeah, there's a new character debuting. I think that's the next issue. Is it Punchline? What'd you think of that Disney coming attractions ad during the Super Bowl? No new shows until August. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a sucky wait. But, it is what it is. I was really hoping in the Super Bowl that we'd get an Eternals look, but we didn't. We got yet another Black Widow look, but that was cool, I guess. But yeah, the whole Disney Plus thing, it was really cool seeing those tidbits from the WandaVision and the Winter Soldier and Falcon. Looked really, really cool. Sam, I just don't know if Joker's going to do too well. I'm not plugged into this stuff anymore, But I don't know. It seems like there was some reaction against Joker, which I think was kind of unfounded after I watched the film. But it seemed like there were some things, like there were parts of the world that were parts of ideology that were already lined up against the Joker. And that happens to be an ideology that Hollywood's kind of really latched onto. So I would not be surprised if Joker does not actually win much at the Oscars. That being said, I haven't seen all these films, so I'm not an expert anymore. Out of every movie that I saw, and I only watch the big popcorn tentpole things that are related to this channel, pretty much. Those are the ones I watch nowadays. I used to go watch everything, right? But out of everything I saw, like Joaquin Phoenix's performance in that movie was by far one of the best. I thought it was amazing. So I think he should win Best Actor, which I think would be cool because now we can claim that a comic book movie has a Best Actor as well as a Best Supporting Actor award given. But really, who cares? You know, like really, who cares? Like Atari says, the only thing that's really important is that Mr. Peanut is alive. And I love the idea of Baby Nut. What? What? Oh, S Squared Creamsicle is being a dick lately. He's been kind of obnoxious. Like Obnoxio the Clown. Sam says, I'm driving up from Montgomery to your store for a free comic book day. Or for comic book day, it says, but I'm assuming you mean free comic book day. Can't wait to meet the legend. Well, thank you so much. Who are you talking about? Which one of my employees are you talking about as the legend? No, I mean, I'm looking really forward to meeting you. Make sure that you introduce yourself to me as Sam Fett. Otherwise, I'm going to think you're some kind of buster-ass customer. Joker made us social workers look very bad, Samuel says. Well, sometimes the Joker makes comic book fans look bad, doesn't he? Joker's good stuff. Well, it's too late, Samuel. I've already said it out loud. You can't retract it now. Anyway, welcome here to Rockin Robbie Live. Hey, Reggie with the 1111. I love that. That's really, really cool. Everybody, make a wish. Make a wish right now in honor of Reggie. I don't know if anybody's really noticed too much, but we got a new camera. And so for the last couple weeks, we've been using the new camera. And I am loving it. There's still a lot for me to learn. Still a lot for me to learn. Reggie is a big key to that. Helping support the channel here on the live streams with the little tip jar donation, the super chat as they call it. Reggie is always on top of that. He's a patron of ours over at patreon.com/PCP. Reggie, we really just appreciate the hell out of you. You are one of the absolute coolest. And I see you out there in the community, and you're always spreading that support around, and you're really helping this YouTube comic book community. And Reggie, you are absolutely one of the key figures in that for me. And I think you are so amazing, and hats off to you. I can't physically take my hat off right now because of the shades and the headphones, but you get what I'm saying, dog. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much, homie. Scarpat's Comic Treks says, not sure Joker deserves Best Picture. Best Actor, maybe. Joker was a good movie, but not a good Batman villain film. Fleck would get his lights punched out by a Robin. Joker always gets his lights punched out. Like Joker's not a physical threat to Batman or Robin. You know what I'm saying? Joker's got to get up on you. Yeah, maybe it's not a good Batman flick. I think it was a great exploration into character development. I didn't mind that he was the Joker. I thought it was very intriguing. It's not my best movie of the year. I don't think it's the best movie of the year. But nowadays, and historically, even when I was really, really into the Oscars, it seems like for the most part, my favorite movies of the year usually wound up winning something like Best Screenplay. You know what I'm saying? My favorite movie this year was Us. I love Us, and I don't think Us got nominated for anything except for maybe, I think it got nominated for Best Screenplay. But anyway, Joker is one of the better films of the year that I have seen. But like I said, I haven't seen all these movies. I haven't seen Parasite. I still haven't seen 1917. I'm really excited to see 1917, but things keep coming up. In fact, this weekend, I rewatched Fellowship of the Ring. In fact, for some reason, Friday night, I thought that I could make it through the extended cut of Fellowship of the Ring, right? Starting it at after 10 p.m. I thought I could make it through it without falling asleep. No effing way. I was falling asleep before the first disc ended, and I made it right through, and then I was like, all right, cutting it off, gotta go. Oh, Us definitely has, for sure, the best soundtrack of the year for me for best score. I don't know if it's been nominated. I don't even really know what's all nominated. I used to pay so much attention to this, y'all, but I don't anymore. But I did like the Joker film. I thought it was great. Excited to see Jay Garrick in Flash 750. Also, what is your opinion on Flash and Wonder Woman going back to their legacy numbers? Oh, that's fine, Jeff. I think that's cool. You got people that are like so hardcore for legacy numbering. You got people that are so hardcore for rebooting every couple of years. Having a fresh number. I see both sides of it. I understand both sides of it. I don't care. I just want a good comic book. They always revert to their legacy numbering. They always go back to that because that's how you have your milestone issues, right? Which to me, 750, not a milestone issue. You could have waited just a little bit to make it to 800, but whatever, right? But yeah, I'm very excited to see Jay Garrick, and all that stuff. I feel like we're finally, now that Doomsday Clock's over, we're getting momentum now. We're going right through Rebirth into 5G, and we'll see what happens there. What's up, Shane? How are you doing? Fellowship is just 3 hours of dudes walking. I love the Lord of the Rings films. I think they're amazing. And they always make me feel like I'm hanging out with Brooks, even when I'm not. Brooks is the biggest Tolkien fan I have ever met. Brooks is like, in my life, Brooks is the biggest fan of Tolkien, in particular, Lord of the Rings. He loves all that shit. And Gandalf, he's a big fan. I mean, come on, look at Brooks. You can totally tell this dude loves him some J.R.R. Tolkien, right? Real fun stuff. Oh, yeah, Slime. Absolutely, and welcome, Slime. Yeah, they're going to celebrate Wonder Woman 800. That's the thing, so, like, even when they reboot because of this. Number ones sell better, right? And they're more easily accessible. People come to my shop, and they're like, oh, they look at Daredevil, and if it says issue 15, and I tell them Daredevil's good, it's within reason that they can get caught up, right? And even if Daredevil had its legacy numbering, whatever it's supposed to be at, I don't know, I'm sure it's nearing 700 probably at this point. I have no idea, actually. But there's something inside of you that goes, well, there's no way I can get caught up on that. When we were like, well, Chip Zdarsky's run started just 15 issues ago, so just start there. But there's something about starting on a number that's not number one, right? And I think it kind of can bother people. I remember when I was a kid, I ate up number ones. You know what I'm saying? Like Thunderstrike number 1, I'm sold. Secret Defenders number 1, I'm sold. Fallen Angels number 1, I'm sold. You get what I'm saying? Like, these are books that I remember when I was a kid specifically buying because there were number 1 issues that were coming out. So I get why they do both. I think it's super cool. Brooks does love the pipe weed, I'll tell you that. In fact, most of us, not all of us, but most of us here at PCP probably enjoy the pipe weed. I can't speak for everybody, though. Best pipe weed in the Shire. When we were rewatching it, I noticed, I think this is the first time I really have noticed this, but like when Saruman says to Gandalf, your love of the halfling's pipeweed has clouded your judgment or slowed your mind or some shit like that. The propaganda machine, right? This week, first cover appearance of Donny Cates by Scotty Young on Venom. Oh, so the Scotty Young variant has Donny Cates on it? That's really cool. I got his very first appearance on a trading card. How cool is that? It's behind me over there a little bit. Anyway, here's the assortment of things that I'm showing off tonight right here. What if Conan lived in modern times? Well, you don't have to stretch the imagination too far, because that's what's going on in the Marvel Universe right now. What used to be what ifs is now actual continuity. That's the Venom figure right there with the toxic slime that got recalled. There's my Quicksilver from Silverhawks. There's a little tiny mystery mini of the Fly. There's Aquaman on Cthulhu. There's a Gizmo Duck. That was a not a Happy Meal. That was like a cereal thing. And there's a little Thing figure right there. Here's the Thing. All right, I'm about to get caught up on the comments here, but let's get to the first subject, the first discussion. What was your pick of the week last week? Mine was Gideon Falls, number 21. Lots of fantastic stuff about Gideon Falls. I love that book. I said a lot about it on the weekly comic book review. I said a lot about it on the PCP Top 10. And if you're watching both of those, let me know down below. I think that's really cool if you're watching both of those. They kind of go over the same information sometimes, but I do, in the top 10 video, I'm trying to get a little bit more in depth about the technique and the creator aspect of it, but I don't know if I'm doing any better. But I'm going to get on to your comments here, but let me know what your favorite comic book of last week was. What was your pick of the week? Let's start a discussion. Shane says, just read The Man Who Effed Up Time, and your review was spot on. Thank you for putting me onto this book. Well, Shane, you're welcome. Thank you for reading the book and enjoying it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really fun. In fact, I've intended this entire week to reread issue number 1, and I haven't gotten around to it yet. But that book was so crazy. I think anybody who's read it, it's the flower. It's the dude and the flower. That's what fucked everything up. That's just what I'm picking up on that right now. Just read my Daredevil. They're on 629. Hey, there you go. I said they're on 600 something. Yeah. That's what happens when you've been reading comic books for 30 years. 30 plus years, y'all. 30 plus years. 1986 is when I started reading comics. I was 5 years old. Though I've been told that I actually was always obsessed with comics up even before that. And I would flip through comics, but I don't know if I actually read them. But what I remember vividly was 1986. Wings of silver, nerves of steel, silver hawks, partly metal, partly real. Silver hawks. The Silver Hawks is the best, y'all. Silver Hawks is the best. If you want to distract me ever in a live stream, just throw some lines from an animated series theme song. Especially if it's from the 80s or the 90s. Oh, Lord. Let's see here. What's up, Logan? How are you doing? Oh, that was God Tank. Hell yeah. What's up, buddy? How are you doing? What do you expect of Joker War? I expect a decent story. Hopefully, James Tynion understands the world of Batman. He understands Gotham City. I'm enjoying what he's doing right now. It doesn't feel I don't know. I have to see how we're going to go with this, right? But my expectations of Joker War are going to be a pretty decent story. I wish they would get... I know that... so Daniel did the first issue, and then March did the second and the third. And so I think Daniel's doing more, right? And Jorge Jimenez is coming in. So I'm really excited for that. I would like less March issues and more Daniel and Jimenez, and I would love to see even Jorge Fornes come back, but I also really like him right now being the alternating artist on Daredevil with Marco Cicchetto. But I would definitely, what I'm expecting, I think I'm expecting a decent, slightly above average Batman story. I'm not expecting this one to be too game-changing, but also DC's in the middle of a shift right now, and so it's almost like Tynion's Batman run, to me, is leading Batman into 5G. Whatever that's going to be. And we have an idea of what it's going to be. And we have differing opinions on that. My opinions are pretty much all of everybody's opinions all in one. I'm excited, but I'm very nervous and cautious as well. But that's how I am at every DC big event reboot. So we'll see what happens. I usually like it when they do shit like this, but we'll see. The aftermath seems like it's going to be very, very divisive. So anyway, I'm not a horror reader, Samuel says, but Gideon Falls has caught my eye. That's such a great book. Slime says, I've only read Daredevil 17 and X-Men Fantastic Four #1, so Zdarsky is my pick of the week. That's a good pick of the week, to be honest. God Tank says, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #3. Hell yeah. Jesse agrees with Zdarsky. What's up, Johnny Rios Castro? Hey, Robbie, what's up with the cereal boxes in your videos? Really cool. Here's the story of the cereal boxes. So one of my favorite YouTube channels is a YouTube channel called Serial Time TV. The cat that runs that channel, his name's Gabe. He's a writer. I think he's like a writer in Hollywood. I think he was a writer on like TV series and shit like that. I think he was a writer on the Jessica Jones series, but I'm not sure. Anyway, he's a big cereal fanatic, and I am a huge cereal fanatic as well, and have been my entire life. I love cereal. I love trying new cereals. I love classic old school cereals. I get a very nostalgic vibe in my life over cereal. And he has a collection of cereal boxes, and he does cereal reviews. He releases a video most every Saturday. Sometimes he goes on hiatus. He actually just came back with a new one this week. But if you like cereal and you want to know about the history of cereal, definitely check out Cereal Time TV here on YouTube. However, he's also a big comic book fan, right? So in every single one of his videos, he's in front of a bookcase, right? And he'll have, like, he's a big musical and play guy, so we'll have a playbill there, something he's seen. He'll have a DVD. He's a big hip-hop fan, so we'll have a CD. But he's a comic book fan as well, so we'll have a comic book up there. So my idea was that if Gabe on Serial Time TV puts a comic book in the background of every single one of his videos, then I, as a tribute and a nod to him, am going to have a box of cereal in the background of every one of my videos, because I mostly do comic book content, right? So that's the idea, is that it's a tribute to Serial Time TV. In most of his videos, he has a comic book in the background, and it's a cereal channel, and I am a comic book channel for the most part, and so I have a cereal in the background of most of my videos in tribute to him. So that's the story behind that. Also, I just really fucking love cereal. Right now, I'm on my basic 4, which, I mean, oh my God, I love basic 4. Like, it was closeout at Kroger, because it's usually like $4 and something, which I'm not paying over $4 for a box of cereal. But they had a closeout price for like $2. And I was like, wow, that sucks, because it means they're getting rid of it. But I stocked up on a couple boxes, because when I was a kid, I loved Basic 4. It's basically Raisin Bran, but with cranberries and almonds. And I think that's pretty nifty. And I hadn't had it in years. And then when I bit into it, I was just like, oh, this is better than Raisin Bran, y'all. Better than Raisin Bran. Eddie says, X-Men Fantastic Four was my pick of the week. That was my number 2. It was such a great book. I really liked it. Let's see here. I agree. I think the flower has a bigger part in the plot than it led on in issue number 1. Oh, absolutely, Shane. That's why it's there. There's no way this dude changed all that. Now, he could have messed everything up because he's going to go back and try to fix it. Maybe he'll keep going back further and he'll keep messing everything up. This dude goes back in time, by the way, 1 week, and comes back, and Abraham Lincoln was never assassinated. Dinosaurs still exist. America's got the Lincoln dynasty of kings, right? His descendants have ruled America since then. And there's like Aztec and Egyptian like pyramids and temples all over the place. Like, what? This is totally in my wheelhouse. Like, I love this shit. It's like this dude went back a week in time, came back, and Graham Hancock's vision for reality came to life. Oh, man. What did you think of Backtrack? It's my book of the week. It was my sleeper hit of the week. I definitely had it at I think I had it number 4 on my top 10. I loved it. I thought it was great. Great concept. Another time travel concept. All these famous wheel people, whatever. They get snatched up and put into this race, and the race is through time, right? So I really liked it. I thought the art was great. Very dynamic, very kinetic, highly charged. Really liked it. Backtrack was something I really, really thought was sleek and cool. Reggie says, X-Men Fantastic Four was the only thing I had time to read, and it was dope. It was good. Logan says, Lois Lane number 8. You know, I quit reading that one. I found it to be a little bit boring, but I'm very interested in seeing what Ruck is doing with that character. I liked the book, but it just hit on a week. Unfortunately, like one of those big weeks where I had to make cuts. I'm not reading 50 comic books every freaking week, you know? There's no way I can do that. You know, and for y'all's benefit, y'all want the video on Tuesday night. I can't read 50 comics a week. And if you want me to be excited in those videos, I can't. I mean, I'll do it when it's necessary. Anyway, Lois Lane's definitely something I'm trade waiting. Robbie and Gideon Falls is totally like, you're holding my hand, Chuck, you sly dog. Slime says singing. I guess I did end up watching the Oscars. Oh, man. Thunder, thunder, Thundercats. Oh, hell yeah. Which immediately puts the Silverhawks theme back in my head. Shane says TMNT versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 3 is my pick of the week, but the man who effed up time is a close second. Brandy, how are you doing, Robbie? Like your channel? You should do a collab with Jim Mint. I've done a collab with Jim Mint. I was on a few videos with him. There was a time there where we were doing like a spoiler-filled weekly comic book discussion. And Jim is a homie of mine. I like Jim a lot. And he's often commenting on my videos. He watches them, apparently. I watch his videos. I think Jim Mint's just the coolest. He's a big inspiration, and he's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But yeah, I love Jim a lot. Jim. So we have done some more videos, but yeah, we should do more in the future. I think so. If you guys want Jim to do more videos with me, get on his channel and let him know. He ain't going to listen to me. He'll listen to y'all. Now, Jim's a super cool dude. I really have nothing but love and respect for that homie. He's amazing. I'm part of the Geminites Facebook group, by the way. So you guys should hop in there if you're not already. You should also hop in the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. What's up, Carlos? How are you doing? Brian, last week I dug the X-Men FF book. Yeah, I loved it. David the Gnome's son, best intro ever. David the Gnome was a Nick Jr. show, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that. That was the show that would come on, and I remember it would come on at the time of the day where nothing else was effing on. Like, nothing else was fucking on. And I would watch it because my siblings loved it. I also watched way too much Barney because I'm the oldest, right? I'm firstborn. I think that's obvious. Most people that know me in my life, I'm a firstborn. So I would have died in the Exodus, you know what I'm saying? The next sibling is 6 years younger than me, so I am significantly older than the rest of my siblings. And so I watched way too much Barney and David the Gnome, and I hated it. What's up, Taki616? How are you doing? My favorite thing as Square is it keeps holding back your comments even though you're trying to hide the fact that you're cursing. Feel free to curse. If you curse in a comment, it's just going to throw it to me for approval. The reason why I have that set up is because sometimes, believe it or not, people say really nasty things. Not necessarily about me. I don't care what people say about me, but they'll say about other people, and I just, that's not what we're here for. We're here to build people up, not tear them down. Plenty of places for that, right? Let's see. Oh, man, I got behind on some things. Oh, Taki, Life cereal is one of my favorite. In particular, Cinnamon Life. Cinnamon Life is life to me. It's one of my top 5. I love it. Nothing better than old school Smurf Berry Crunch. Oh my God, God Tank, you are 100% correct there. Smurf Berry Crunch was fucking awesome. And the closest we've ever had to that in recent years was the Wild Berry Fruit Loops, which to me, very distinctly brought up that nostalgic, reminiscent taste of Smurf Berry Crunch. So I really, really, really would love to see that come back. Oh man, Smurf Berry Crunch was the shit, y'all. What's up, Shaq? Okay, Robbie, what show? Blasting off on a desperate mission to save Earth from a tyrannical space lord. Blasting off on a desperate mission to save Earth from a tyrannical space lord. I don't know, Dave. You let me know. I can't think of that real quick. I heard Serial's going to have its own Spotlight song in Robbie the Musical. Well, it wasn't, but that's a good idea. Everyone wearing top hats, Brian says. Man, question, what is the fiber content of Basic 4? Got to keep that sheet rolling, know what I'm saying? Yeah, Robert, we all got to stay regular. Probably pretty high. It's got a lot of flakes in it. I don't know. I have to look on the break here. I'll take a look and see if I remember. I'll write it down. Check fiber. When I do the break, I'll look and I'll be like, check fiber. What the hell does that even mean? What did I think of Tom Taylor's Spider-Hulk story? I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was pretty solid. My full thoughts are on the weekly comic book review when I cover it. Those were my initial thoughts. I do think it's okay, though. I think it's pretty solid. I did like it. Definitely a top 15 book, but it didn't make my top 10, but we'll see. Mandalorian's second season date confirmed, and season 3 is a go. Heck yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah, Backtrack is cool. I don't remember if Silverhawks played after Thundercats, but it definitely was set in the same world. But it probably did. Shane, my thoughts on the upcoming Donny Cates project from Image are, I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to read it. Too much Barney will lead to pipeweed. What's up, Samuel? How you doing? Hey, Bueller's here, everybody. What's up, Comics with Bueller? How are you doing, my friend? Got to catch the very tail end of y'all's stream last night, which was super cool. Talking about their favorite villains. Anybody who hasn't checked that out, it's on the Everything Comics page. Definitely check out the replay. I love all of those Portland YouTubers. I think they're amazing. I want to make my way up there. Smoke a ton of weed. Do some videos with Bueller and Bob and Sam and Damien. I would love that. It's like on the complete opposite ass end of the country to me. But I want to make it up there. I really want to. I've always wanted to visit Portland, actually. Anyway, Bueller, thank you for being here. One of my inspirations. Love his channel. Just recently crossed 9,000 subs, y'all. So, congratulations, Bueller. Well deserved, my friend. Shaq, I haven't watched the Lock and Key TV show yet. I love the comic book, but I haven't seen the show yet. It is definitely something that is ready. It's ready to go. Hey, what's up, Mike? No, I mean, I saw that he has a YouTube channel, and he showed me a little bit of his video, but I haven't checked it out for myself. But thank you for reminding me. Was it Emperor Bear? Something like that? Very excited to check that out. It's a homie of ours. Just recently started a YouTube channel. I think he's going to do like movie analysis type things. His first video is some kind of critique on the new Star Wars film or something. He's got some nice movement on it. He had one of his favorite YouTubers who has like, I don't remember, like he has like thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers. I think he's at least over 30,000, maybe 300,000. It was really heavy. Commented on it and gave him some mad props. I think that's really, really cool. Expectations or insights into the new Wonder Woman movie. Wasn't the biggest fan of Birds of Prey. It was all right. I loved Birds of Prey. We'll talk about that more in a minute after the break. My expectations on Wonder Woman 84, we'll see. I mean, I'll just watch it. I thought Wonder Woman was solid. I thought it was fine. It wasn't my favorite thing ever. I didn't like it near as much as I love Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey really, really got me going. I really like that film. Did anyone read Black Cat this week? It was a perfect Black Cat run so far. I haven't read it. I dropped out of it, but we'll definitely have to check it out eventually. Jed McKay's getting some traction. He's going to be co-writing the Spider-Man Venom Free Comic Book Day issue this year. We covered that on the weekly pop culture wrap-up this morning. Let's see here. What's your early sleeper for next week's comic book? Shane, I don't know. Right now, I think Undone by Blood is pretty solid. I have read that, but I got to read them before I can judge them. But Undone by Blood was really good. I read that Saturday because Brett had been asking me about it, and I finally read it. I also read Strange Adventures #1. I never got back to you on that one, Brett. Strange Adventures #1 was very interesting, but it wasn't clear to me quite yet what Tom King and company are doing with this. It's clear what they're doing, but there's a lot of mystery still in that book. But I really did like it. I thought Strange Adventures #1 was pretty solid. If you like Tom King's work on books like Omega Men, but especially like Mr. Miracle and Vision, read Strange Adventures. I thought it was cool. But yeah, be ready for Undone by Blood. It's a modern revenge western written by Zach Thompson. It's going to be out from Aftershock. It's really good. It's not a horror western. No, it's a revenge western. Black Cat's been better than the Amazing book lately. That's not too shocking to me. Let's take a look at what's coming up in comic books this week. From Dark Horse Comics, we have Blackwood, The Morning After, number 1. Criminal Macabre, The Big Bleed Out, number 3. Let's see. Stranger Things, Into the Fire, number 2. Tales from Harrow County, Death's Choir, number 3. From IDW, Dungeons and Dragons, Infernal Tides, number 2. G.I. Joe, number 5. Marvel Action Spider-Man, number 1, relaunching. A Napoleon Dynamite Valentine's Day special. Rising Sun, number 2. Sonic the Hedgehog, number 25. And Uncle Scrooge, 54. That's IDW. From Dynamite, Deja Thoris, number 3. Let's see. James Bond, number 3. Vampirella Red Sonja, number 6. Okay. And from Boom Studios, we have Alienated, number 1. I've read the first issue of Alienated. Another solid debut from Boom Studios. I really thought it was a great first issue. And I usually don't like much Cy Spurrier work, so that's saying something, at least in my opinion. Buffy the Vampire Slayer / Angel Hellmouth, number 5. That's the final issue. Ghosted in L.A., number 8. Another fantastic book from Boom. Boom's just really solid right now. Go-Go Power Rangers, number 29 is out this week. Ronin Island, number 10. From other companies, we've got Angela De La Morte, number 4. Archie 1955, number 5. Bloodshot, number 6. Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man, number 4. Ignited, number 7. Midnight Sky, number 4. Nightmare Before Christmas, Zero's Journey, number 16. Rye, number 4. RV9, number 4. Undone by Blood, number 1, which is probably going to be the sleeper hit of the week. Great stuff. And the She Said Destroy trade paperback, which is written by Joe Corallo with artwork by Liana Kangas. Liana Kangas is a friend of mine. She's a super cool person. She's a great artist, and she will be joining us at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo at the PCP booth, and I'm very excited to have her very first comic book guest at the expo. It's like we did that. That's PCP's guest. That's super cool to me. She's an official guest of the expo, but I worked with the expo to get it to happen, and yeah, very excited. Very excited. We'll get to the big 3 here in just a second. Any thoughts on Decorum? Oh yeah, super excited for Decorum. It's a Jonathan Hickman creator-owned book. But I'd love to see Frontier and Feel Better Now and all the other projects that we've forgotten about. Dying in the Dead, Black Monday Murders, what the hell? Brian, I'm also looking forward to Red Mother number 3. Oh, I've read Red Mother number 3. It's really good. I forgot about that. I got an early look at that. Oh, Bueller, I know. You all seem pretty square to me. But yeah, I know I know it's legal there. I mean that in the best way possible, Bueller. I wasn't trying to allude to the idea that Bueller and Bob and company smoke at the Chiba. Just that it's legal there. Yeah, I like that. You can go right across the street from my house and buy some at the store. That's just wild to me. Oh, what a world. You know, Robbie, the second trade for Die has come out. No better time to hop on. Yeah, it's not Boom Studios, it's Image. But yeah, I almost grabbed them to bring them in, but right now I'm in the middle of my reread of Watchmen, and I'm doing a very intense reread for the season finale of Comics Revisited Season 2. But yeah, I definitely plan on getting caught up very soon. Shane's excited for Decorum. High expectations for that book. Yeah, Samuel, I actually really liked Space Bandits. I thought it was a really good book, so very excited for that. It'd be a cool show. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'll pretty much read anything too. And Mike Huddleston, yeah, that's going to be a really fun book. What's up, We Got Issues? How are you doing? Square with Love, Bueller. That's what I mean. Man, I just want to hang out with y'all so much. Let's see here. Am I in the right place looking like a Stevie Wonder comic? Well, it's a Teen Dog Shades night, yo. And we haven't even gone down the rabbit hole yet. From Image Comics this week. 20XX number 3 is out this week. Ascender number 9. Clock number 2. Moonshine number 16. Postal Deliverance number 7. Safe Sex number 6. Sonata number 8. And Tataris number 1, which is new. What about DC? DC Comics. Hey, Taika Waititi just won an Oscar. Super cool. From DC Comics, we have Batman and the Outsiders number 10. Batman Pennyworth R.I.P. It's a one-shot by Peter Tomasi and James Tynion that is exploring the ramifications of the death of Alfred, which Tom King recently just did an interview and stated that DC were the ones who decided to keep Alfred dead, not him. His plan was to bring him back, which means that I was right when I said that shit. Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul, number 4. Batman's Grave, number 5. Catwoman, number 20. Dollhouse Family, number 4. Flash, number 88. Flash Giant, number 3. Gotham City Monsters, number 6. Green Lantern, season 2, number 1. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, number 1, the new DC Black Label book. Connor and Palamati and Company. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, number 6. Hawkman, number 21. House of Whispers, number 18. Ruby, number 5. Supergirl, 39. Superman, number 20. Superman Heroes, number 1. Terrifics, 25. Wonder Woman, 751. So there you go. And from Marvel Comics, let's wrap this up. Arrow, number 8. Amazing Spider-Man, number 39. Black Panther and the Agents of Wakanda, number 6. Doctor Strange, number 3. Excalibur, number 7. Gwen Stacy, number 1. Hawkeye Freefall, number 3. Immortal Hulk, number 31. Iron Man 2020, number 2. Jessica Jones Blind Spot, number 3. Marvel's X, number 2. Morbius, number 4. Nebula, number 1. Both of those written by Vita Ayala. Savage Avengers, number 10. Let's see. The Rise of Kylo Ren, number 4. Number 3, my bad. Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality, number 3. Thor, number 3 is out this week. Very excited for that. Venom, number 23. 2 Donny Cates books. Yeah, and there's the Scotty Young cover with Donny Cates on it. That's cool. X-Force, number 7. And X-Men, number 6. So that's what's coming out in comic book shops this week. Don't forget to get the Outer Darkness trade paperback as well, Slime says. You're right. Robbie, what is your advice for getting comic supplies for cheap? Be a faithful subscriber to Comic Shop. Usually they'll cut you a deal. And check out Bueller's. Bueller's got a deal with, I think, Max Pro Supplies or something like that. Go to his channel. I think there's a code you can put in on their website. Bueller, I think, is the code. You definitely look on his channel for sure. And you can get a discount on some of their stuff. So there's an option too. When does 5G start? Rumors are saying that it starts this fall. But it's actually already started because in Wonder Woman 750, we had the very first 5G story, which was the Scott Snyder, Brian Hitch Wonder Woman story. Close to dropping 20XX, but I will read issue number 3, I think. Yeah, me too. I'll read 3. Currently, who's your favorite comic book artist, Robbie? Mike Mignola. He doesn't really do a lot of current artwork. If I had to pick one who's actually current, actually pumping out consistent work, I don't know, maybe somebody like Jorge Jimenez. I don't know. I have to think about that. But my favorite modern artists are Francisco Francavilla and Mike Mignola. You add in Jack Kirby, that's my top 3 pretty much. Roger says, almost forgot to hit the thumbs up. Well, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, everybody. Thumbs up that shit. All right, when we come back, we'll be answering more questions. We'll be talking a little bit about the Birds of Prey movie, and we'll get into some Teen Dog Shades type conversations. I'll be right back taking a quick break. I got to take a big piss. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and during the break, listen to the Robbie Rants theme song in full, if you want to, or take a break as well. But here we go. We'll be right back here on Rockin Robbie Live, y'all. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live. It's time for the second half of the show. We're going to get a little wild tonight because it's a Teen Dog Shade tonight. We've been talking about what's coming up this upcoming week in comic shops. Very excited about a few. Thor in particular, Undone by Blood, that was really good. So be on the lookout for those ones, of course. Thank you for all the kind compliments on the Robbie Rants theme song. That's something I've written myself. And the image that you saw, the badass image of me and my reflection in the pool of water, that was done by Mike, the voice Matthews. So I got to give credit where credit is due. And many of the awesome photos you see of me, that's actually Mike's magic that he's working. But he's not Magic Mike, he's Maniacal Mike. I really appreciate everybody saying nice things about that song. Sometimes people talk some shit about it, and that's fine. But, I wrote it, and I like using it. So here in the second half, we'll be talking about Birds of Prey. We'll be talking about doing a little bit of show and tell, of course. We'll ask the question of the week. Go ahead and get your comments and questions in right now, though. Your questions really fuel this show. And so while you're getting your comments and your questions, your thoughts, your concerns, while you're getting them in, I do want to say, support us at patreon.com/PCP. Just like all these cats right over here. Super cool people. You can unlock exclusive content. You get early access to the weekly comic book review in an audio downloadable file hours before it goes live here on the YouTube page. That's always cool. You get early access to things like Comics Revisited, PCP After Hours, a completely exclusive to Patreon type thing. It's a podcast that we do after the podcast where we keep the mics going for about 20 minutes and just free ball it. You know what I'm saying? The podcast is returning very, very soon, by the way. Very soon. In fact, we're actually recording the new episode this week. So, yeah, podcast is coming back. We're getting back on schedule, ready to blaze into 2020 on our way to our 50th episode because we don't do as many podcasts as we do YouTube videos. Podcast involves getting a lot of people together at certain times, certain schedule, and all that kind of stuff. I would like to do more. That'd be super, super cool. Also, you can join the PCP Army. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group, and you can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can also support us here with a super chat like Reggie did earlier with the 1111. I really do appreciate that. All support, just watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that stuff. It's amazing to me that y'all do that, and it's just I'm super thankful. Y'all keep us alive and keep us going. I should put that song on iTunes. Maybe I should. The podcast is on iTunes, so you guys can download that stuff there. Best content currently, Batman or Detective Comics? Well, Samuel, in the last month, I would say that it's Batman over Detective. But I think that Detective has been more consistent over the last several months. But I think that right now, the best Batman book is Batman's Grave. Joe just got back from seeing Birds of Prey. Let's talk about Birds of Prey. First of all, the Birds of Prey movie review is live on the channel right now. You can check out my full thoughts, Jelani's thoughts, Brooks's thoughts, our rating, and all that stuff. But in a nutshell, I really, really liked it. I thought everybody did a fantastic job, including Margot Robbie. It was colorful. It was violent. It was like a Guy Ritchie film. I had so much fun with it. I had no anticipation for this movie. I was not looking forward to it at all. And it blew me away. It really blew me away. I thought Huntress was great. She could have been there a little bit more, but she was in there enough, I guess, because this was a Harley movie. But like I said, even though it was a Harley movie, it didn't really bother me too much. So that's pretty nifty. But Black Canary was great. Cassandra Cain was not like the comic book Cassandra Cain, but she definitely fit in this movie. Montoya was great. I love that aged veteran, been doing this shit for too long version of Montoya. I thought it was great. I thought they offered a lot of respect to what Greg Rucka had done with some of those characters, and also what Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor have done with Harley Quinn. It was not obnoxious to me. It was super, super fun. I loved it. If you've been on the fence about this movie, I would really, really encourage you to check it out. I absolutely loved it. What did y'all think? Shane says, do you think DC or Marvel will bring back Orion Parrott will bring Ryan Parrott over to write one of their big titles after his amazing work with Power Rangers. Oh, for sure. They definitely should. Herminio says, the podcast is awesome. Can't wait for the next one. Well, thank you very much. I'll announce what the next one is here in a little bit. Johnny says, really dig the podcast. You guys should do one on movie monsters. Yeah, we really should. You know, around Halloween time, we always try to do a horror episode. We've done 70s horror. We've done 80s horror. We've done 90s horror. So that's on the 90s horror is on the iTunes and the website right now. It's not on YouTube yet. But that's a fun one. So I think this year we're going to do 2000s horror. But yeah, movie monsters would be a great one too. Maybe we'll do a twofer for October. That'd be fun. Roger says the Oscars are really dragging. Stay on the stream, everyone. Yeah, I appreciate everybody here on the stream, and hit that thumbs up button. Let's see if we can get as many thumbs up as people in the stream. And as we're standing right now, we need 4 more thumbs ups. 4 more. 4 more, and we hit that moment. Which is always like a personal and a collective goal that we have here. I'm seeing it on Tuesday. It's better to leave the comic book knowledge at the door. Yeah, Taki. I mean, I get that, you know, but I mean, I have comic book knowledge, you know, and so you're always wanting to hold on to it. I just want to make sure the essence of the characters are true. The essence of Cassandra is not necessarily super true, but it didn't bother me so much. Everybody else worked. And what was very surprising to me was how spot on Huntress was. She's only in there for a little bit. She gets played for laughs at times, but I thought it really worked. But her backstory, her attitude, like she was spot on. And I'm a big Bertinelli fan, so that really, really cracked me up. Robbie, my man, you read so much every week, but which series do you see as pleasure every issue and not as work? Wow, Robert, there's a lot of them. Gideon Falls is one of them. Gideon Falls, right now, Red Mother, Something is Killing the Children. These are some of my favorite comic books right now. Wasted Space, most stuff from Vault is always a pleasure. Anything from Rom V and Alex Pagnadell and Dan Waters, and which I'm about to be getting caught up on Lucifer as well. And Ryan O'Sullivan. I love the White Noise crew. I think they do amazing work. Even when I'm doing it for work, though, like right now I'm reading deeply into The Watchmen for Comics Revisited. So when I do Comics Revisited, I do revisit those comics, like me and my guest. Like we actually revisit the comics. We think about it. We try to pull apart, you know, what we think we want to talk about the technique, what we want to talk about the history and the context of the story, what we want to talk about the thematic elements. So we really dive deep into those, but all that stuff to me is a pleasure. So basically, my life's work at this point in my life is my pleasure, and that's something that we should all attain to. You know, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. I've heard that quote many times. I mean, it's obviously still work, and sometimes it bogs you down. You know, working at a comic shop is still a retail job, so you still deal with all of that. Reading comic books, you know, and discussing them on YouTube is fun and exciting, but it's still sometimes you're just like, I don't want to read 40 comic books today. But you do it, you know, you just plow through it. You do it because you love it and you respect your audience. And there you go. Scarpad's Comic Trick says, I like Birds of Prey quite a bit. The Guy Ritchie analogy is bang on. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's like a more colorful, all-female version of a Guy Ritchie film, and I loved it. I loved it so much. There's a heist. It's like the central focus is a stolen diamond, and you got all these different factions and elements going against it, and it's very humorous. It goes back and forth. It's not told linearly necessarily, and I just absolutely love the structure of it. And I really loved Harley Quinn in this film. It was unapologetic about her character. I don't usually like it when villains turn into heroes because they try to sugarcoat it too much. They did not sugarcoat the psychosis of Harley Quinn in this film, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great. Creature Feature and Money Shot. I agree. Yeah, those are good books. Will you read the Justice League Dark series when Rom V takes over? Oh, for sure. I've been reading it this whole time, and yeah, Rom V's one of my favorite writers in the biz right now. He wrote my second favorite comic book last year, which was These Savage Shores. So yeah, very excited to see him come on. Let's check this. Hey, we've got more likes than we have people in here. Now, we have lost some people, but that's okay. It happens. I don't know what our peak was tonight so far. Hopefully, we haven't hit our peak yet. So everybody share it and be like, hey, y'all need to get right now. If you're watching the Oscars, it's lame and stupid. Come on, hang out with Rockin Robbie. He's about to get into Stan Lee versus Jack Kirby shit. Y'all want to see that rant? Hell yeah. Anybody else see Birds of Prey or any other questions real quick? Let's get them in. Ron V is one of my favorites, though. I love all the cats at White Noise. They're amazing. And they all got new books coming out in other places, but from Vault as well. There's a White Noise Phase 2 coming. The announcements will be coming. I would anticipate those announcements at Emerald City. I wish I could be there. And I know that all the Portland cats like Bueller and company are going to be at MegaCon, but that's the same week as the damn Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. Taki says he saw the rant kind of last night. Well, I think okay. I think you know what I'm referencing or what kind of spawned this on. So I was on YouTube last night because I was editing the weekly pop culture wrap-up, and I pulled up my YouTube page, and Comic Book University was going live. And I've checked out a video here and there. I think I was on a live stream with him at one point on Dylan's channel. I think he was on the New Year's Eve live stream with me for just a second there. Maybe that was someone else. I think it was him. Do they call him the professor? First of all, let me say, Comic Book University is a great channel. He is very, very knowledgeable about comic books and the history of comics. So in no way is anything that I'm about to say shade on him, because I think he's amazing. I think he made some good points last night. But man, I'll be honest with y'all, I got pretty fucking angry talking to him about Jack Kirby versus Stan Lee. I really did. I got pissed. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. I really, really got outside of myself in this. But I didn't, as I think most people should in the world right now, even though I was angry, right? I didn't come at him with like vitriol or like angst or anger or anything like that, right? I think I gave him some OMGs and dude, come on. But here's the thing. We're going to talk about Kirby and Lee here. And I did do some research just to verify some things. First of all, when we're talking about these two, we got to really understand that they were both absolute geniuses in the comic book industry. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, fantastic. And this is in no way going to be any kind of a dig at Stan Lee. I think Stan Lee's place in the comic book industry is solidified. I think it's important. So there you go. But I am much more of a fan of Jack Kirby. Much, much more of a fan of Jack Kirby. So that means I'm a little bit biased in this argument, okay? I'm a little bit biased. I will always try to find, this is my confirmation bias, and I try to break out of this at times, but this is my thing, is I am more on Kirby's side, okay? For those of you who do know or don't know, there's a whole thing, and it's been going on for decades. Jack Kirby versus Stan Lee. Who did what? Who's more responsible? Who deserves the credit? And what it all kind of comes out of is that Stan Lee became a big name, a very popular figure. Most people in the comic book industry know Stan Lee so much, they think Stan Lee created everything popular in comics, which is not the case. Or they think he created the entire Marvel Universe on his own. Not the case. Not the case. Not the case. But we all know that. But Stan Lee was a mastermind at promotion, definitely self-promotion. Now, I'm not blaming him for that. That's fine. I don't hate on Stan Lee. He's super talented. He was a great spokesman for Marvel. He is not the greatest comic book writer of all time. Okay? He is not. Okay? But the discussion last night was about this. He was going on about DC being a shady company. And he was using as an illustration DC's treatment of Alan Moore over The Watchmen. Okay? No, Roger, we don't overlook Ditko, nor Ramita, nor Buscema, nor anybody else who over the next 50 years, right, and 80 if you want to go all the way back to the Golden Age, the Marvel Universe is created by hundreds of people that are responsible for that, right? Stan Lee, though, gets a lot of the credit, okay? And he gets a lot of credit because he deserves a lot of credit. But let's talk about Jack Kirby. So, the idea was that DC is a shady company because of their treatment of Alan Moore over The Watchmen. My response was, DC and Marvel are both shady as F. They're shady as fuck. They're both corporate entities. They're shady as hell. They will always take their bottom line dollar, whatever. They're over creators. Yeah, creator rights don't exist at DC and Marvel. It's just not the way it works. There's a reason why there are legal battles in these companies over creators and their estates, okay? Because copyright law means that after a certain amount of time, creator rights go back to the creator. Creator-owned, creator rights versus corporate rights, and that's a whole different thing. So I think that homie at Comic Book University he's very accurate in what he's saying. These people sign contract, it's work for hire, right? That's basically what he was saying. Because he said, Marvel's not as shady as DC. And he was like, give me an example. And I said, Lee and Marvel about Kirby and Ditko. Like their treatment of Kirby and Ditko and other of their creators, especially Kirby and Ditko, though. Like Kirby and Ditko are as responsible for the Marvel Universe as Stan Lee is. Now, Stan Lee is that promoter. Stan Lee was the face. That's a big deal. I'm the face of PCP. There's a whole lot more that going on behind the scenes that y'all don't see. Whole Shoe runs the website. You know? Goldsmith and Drew are always on the podcast. Drew hooks us up with movies that we need to see. If we need to watch a bunch of movies to get ready for a podcast, Drew is there. He gathers up the movies. He gets them. He handles that. Hooks all of the rest of us up. All that kind of stuff, right? So, but to me, it's absolutely ridiculous to say that Marvel is not shady towards creators like Kirby and Ditko, but to say that DC is to Alan Moore and Watchmen. Alan Moore signed the damn contract. The contract states if DC has the book go out of print for like a year or something like that, right? If the book is out of print, the rights will revert back to Moore and Gibbons. Well, DC hasn't kept the book out of print. Is that is that bad of DC to keep the Watchmen in print? Has that not helped make Alan Moore's name? Now, I love Alan Moore. I love Alan Moore. I love him so much. He's a great creator. But Jesus Christ, don't sit here and say that DC is shady to Alan Moore, but Marvel was never shady. Stan Lee was never shady to Jack Kirby. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course he was. That's like 100%. Who did what? That's a completely different argument. Both Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, along with creators like Steve Ditko and others, were responsible for the Marvel Universe. That's fine. That's fine. We all know that as comic book fans today. But to say that Marvel's not a shady company, are you serious? The real villain of the entire Stan Lee versus Jack Kirby thing, and yeah, let's not forget Ditko and others, right? But the whole villain of this is Mark Goodman. Mark Goodman was the guy who owned Marvel, who ran Marvel. He was the shady one. Stan Lee did whatever he could to stay in his good graces, and he did. Now, here's the thing. We could argue that Stan Lee should have done more for Jack Kirby. I agree. Stan Lee should have done more to stand up for Jack Kirby, but he didn't. He didn't because he was looking out for himself. Is there anything wrong with that? You may think so morally, but legally, no, not at all, right? And he wanted to bring up the court cases. All right, well, let's bring up the fucking court cases. Okay, so in 2000 and, oh God, did I write this down? In 2004, was it 2009. So copyright law, right? Okay, and I'm ranting. Y'all, I'm ranting. Copyright law, the rights were about to revert back to the original creators, okay? The whole point of this is to point out that DC is that Marvel is just as shady as DC. So the copyright was about to go back to the original creators. Well, is Jack Kirby a creator of Fantastic Four? Is Jack Kirby a creator of the Hulk? Is Jack Kirby a creator of Thor, Silver Surfer, Iron Man, Galactus, X-Men, Captain America? Well, for sure, Captain America. And I even brought up this. I said that, oh, you're bringing up Alan Moore? Well, look what Alan Moore says. Alan Moore says, Stan Lee, great promoter, terrible person towards fellow creators. And he cited that in the Son of Origins book, Stan Lee even alluded to the idea that he may have helped create Captain America, but just didn't really remember it. And that's something that Stan Lee used to do all the time, okay? Stan Lee would, this is why I'm wearing the Teen Dog shades. Stan Lee would be like, well, I don't remember who did what. That was his way to be able to take more credit, okay? Stan Lee was a self-promoter, and he was also a promoter for Marvel, and he was a big deal. Without Stan Lee, Marvel would not exist the way it is, hands down. Even if you had Kirby and Ditko and Ramita and Bashima and everybody else, right? You had all those people. Larry Lieber even. If you had all those people, right? Without Stan Lee, Marvel would not be what Marvel was. It was Stan Lee that really helped elevate Marvel up, right? He was hip. He was cool. He was the face. He made it work. Nothing wrong with Stan Lee for that. But he never stood up for creators' rights. Never, ever. And he would even allude to the idea that he did create things. Now, here's the thing. Alan Moore was incorrect. I did my research last night on the stream. I even mentioned it last night on the stream. It was not stated in Son of Origins that he possibly was the creator of Captain America. He did say some erroneous shit, though, in that book. Read it. Read the book. Read what Stan Lee says about the creatorship of Marvel Comics and certain characters, and just just read it. Read it, and then read some actual reports from real comic book journalism, not just top 5 lists and shit, but real comic book journalism. I'm talking about read fucking Morrow's book, Kirby versus Lee Stuff Said, which all the book does is lay out quotes from Lee and Kirby and their partners and other people in a chronological order. Kirby was saying the same shit in 1990 that he was saying in 1965. Now, 1965 is when the falling apart happened. Kirby claimed that he was more involved in the creation of the stories of these books than Stan Lee was. And he wanted something out of it. Stan Lee was moving himself up into the organization. He was the editor. He was the editor-in-chief. He has the final word on who got credit for what. And if you look back at those days, words by Stan Lee, art by Jack Kirby, right? Who did what? Well, they both did it. But here's these are facts, y'all. The Marvel way of writing comic books. I'm going to rant for a minute. The Marvel way of writing comic books was this. I think Goodman was his uncle. There are claims of nepotism in that, but all that aside, however Stan Lee got the job, I don't know if there's any good comic book journalism books on Audible. I need to look into that, actually. I really do. But regardless of how he got his job, Lee is essential and integral to the success of Marvel. What's up, Ethan? How are you doing? Happy birthday, buddy. Happy fucking birthday. Everybody tell Ethan Jones happy birthday. So, Stan always took full writing credit. This is the Marvel way of doing things. back in the 60s. Stan Lee would maybe come up and be like, how about if we did this? Here's a good example. The Galactus trilogy, okay? Here are facts. These are real things. These are real fucking things that exist in the reality of the world. It's not just conspiracy theory bullshit or nothing. This is real shit. So Stan Lee tells Jack Kirby, hey, what if in the next story of Fantastic Four, they go up against God? That was literally Stan Lee's contribution to the initial Galactus story. That was literally it. What if the Fantastic Four went up against God? In fact, so much so, it's like they know you guys are like trying to disguise your curse words. So much so that when Stan got the pages, he goes, who's this surfer dude? So who created Silver Surfer? Right? Well, they both did, right? Because what would happen is that Stan would give a vague idea about what he wanted to do. Jack would take that and fucking create it. Now, artists do more than just draw. Like, they create a lot, right? It's a big deal. But nowadays, people work on full script for the most part. But the Marvel plot way, the plot first way that was really kind of elevated by Stan Lee was, what if the Fantastic Four went up against God? And then Jack Kirby brings up the entire artwork for Fantastic Four 48, and Stan goes in and fills in the dialogue. In fact, Jack Kirby, in the margins of his original artwork, would be describing the story to Stan and have suggested dialogue. Okay? All right? Do you not believe me? Well, I got some actual pages here. Look at that. That's an original artwork page from Jack Kirby. It's inked, and it's got the lettering on it, but look at the margins. Those are notes to let Stan Lee know what the fuck is happening. There, right there. You see the suggested dialogue placement and the suggested dialogue at the bottom by Jack Kirby? That's Jack Kirby's handwriting, by the way. He yells, grab something, Johnny. Hold on fast. I'm going to open the sealed door to the negative zone. Now, Stan Lee would usually ignore this, right? He would ignore the suggested dialogue. Nobody's arguing that Stan Lee didn't write those words, though I do think Larry Lieber wrote a lot of those words. But look at the suggestions. Why does Kirby have to write in the margin what the story is to Stan Lee? It's because Stan Lee would give him a vague idea, Kirby would do it, and then Stan would have to have notes to be like, oh, this. And also, Stan Lee was a busy person. I'm not hating on Stan Lee. I'm not elevating Jack Kirby over Stan Lee. They were both friends. They were both geniuses. They both worked together to create the Marvel Universe, along with other creators like Steve Ditko, John Buscema, Larry Lieber, and more. So I'm not hating on Stan Lee. Goodman was the villain of the piece. Stan knew how to work with Goodman. Stan was able to promote himself and make himself a very viable part of the industry. Should Jack Kirby had fought more for those rights? Yeah, maybe he should have. Jack Kirby's old school, though. You got to realize Jack Kirby's older than Stan Lee. Jack Kirby believed, if I put my head down, if I do the work, they will reward me. In 65, started getting a little fishy. He started making some rumblings. Well, it didn't work. And in 1970, he left Marvel over it. Before him, Steve Ditko left. Steve Ditko left and never looked back. Steve Ditko, you could argue, had that principle. Well, F you, I won't do what you tell me, I'm done. Right? Jack had a family. Steve Ditko didn't. He wasn't able to do that. In fact, Steve Ditko was trying to convince Kirby to leave with him. Kirby almost did. Kirby had a family, yo. He had a wife. He had kids. This was an old school dude, okay? If it ever really got heated, by the way, Jack Kirby would have totally wiped the floor with Stan Lee. Who knows? I've never heard a story about them actually getting in a physical fight, but that'd be funny, right? But anyway, the credit goes to all of them. But here's the thing. Stan Lee's shady. Stan Lee's shady as fuck. Marvel's shady as fuck to these people. Jack Kirby was only ever trying to get the recognition of being a co-creator People are like, "Oh, well, Stan always did it." No. Stan never, ever in his life admitted that Steve Ditko was the co-creator of Spider-Man. He would say things like, "In my estimation." He would do these weird things where legally he wouldn't be actually saying that Steve Ditko was a co-creator or that Jack Kirby was a co-creator. Now, Lee did at times give the credit, right? He did. Nobody's saying that. I'm not saying that Stan Lee just was like some kind of like an evil, terrible person that was trying to steal Kirby's work or Ditko's work or anybody else. I'm not saying that. I do think he got his brother Larry to ghostwrite a lot of his scripts, though. I'm pretty sure. But that's just speculation. Who gives a shit, right? But he never fought for Kirby, and there's an interview that Kirby did on the radio. It was like on his 80th birthday or something, maybe a different birthday, but I think it was in 1989 or 1990 or something. The whole thing's on YouTube, and he's talking about it. He's talking about, I wrote those stories. Now, he also made some claims. He claimed to have been involved in the creation of Spider-Man, and from what we can actually tell, he did definitely draw the first image of Spider-Man we ever saw, which was Amazing Fantasy number 15, the cover. But his idea for Spider-Man was way different than what Lee and Ditko came up with. Spider-Man is Lee and Ditko. It's more them and less Kirby, okay? So there is that, right? But if you look at that book by John Morrow, I think it's like Stan and Jack or Lee and Kirby or Kirby and Lee, stuff said, something like that. It's literally just quotes of them in chronological order. Kirby didn't really change his story too much. Stan Lee did. Early days, he didn't really remember. Yeah, we both did it. And later on, he's like, "Oh, I did it." And so he was taking credit. Okay, the Alan Moore thing, what he was talking about was at the time, that was when that Captain America movie, that really shitty Captain America movie with the Italian Red Skull, I think, was about to come out. The movie poster and I think the movie itself gives Stan Lee creatorship of Captain America. And Stan Lee was part of that PR campaign. He was part of that. He was actually there making sure, right? So he's implicit in that just a little bit. So that, I think, is where Alan Moore was getting the idea that he alluded to the idea that he may have created Captain America, which we know is not true. That's Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. I don't know if we lost some people, but I'm just frantic. It all is to say this. It's obvious that Kirby helped write those books, okay? Lee never gave him that credit. If you look at that interview, it's Kirby's birthday, and he's talking about, "Oh yeah, I really helped contribute to a lot of this stuff." Stan Lee calls in and has a conversation and denies that Kirby ever had any kind of thing. And you never wrote a word. Sorry, Jack, you didn't. You never wrote a word. You didn't do it. You weren't the writer. I was. You weren't the writer. Come on, man. Come on, Skip. Come on, man. That's cold. You're going to call up on this radio show when they're celebrating the life and the legacy of this man who's it's his birthday, and you're going to call in there in particular to argue with him over who did what? Come on. We know for a fact Jack Kirby was a big part in creating those stories. Not X-Men. X-Men was Lee's baby. The most pure Kirby you're going to get is Fantastic Four and Thor. That was his stuff. In fact, he got so tired of his ideas not being respected on Thor that he held all of his ideas back, and years later, when he went over to DC, he did the New Gods. And that's what that was. Now, I'll tell you this. Look at Kirby's 70s DC work, New Gods, Forever People. I love it. I think it's my favorite, right? I think my favorite is Fantastic Four. It doesn't have the flair that Stan Lee gave the Marvel books. Lee is essential. Kirby is essential. Lee never went out of his way to give that credit to Kirby or Ditko or anything else. They are just as important. And I'm not trying to say anything negative about Stan Lee because it's a complicated world. But Kirby deserved the credit, and he never got that. Not in his lifetime. Now, there was the lawsuit because we wanted to bring up the lawsuit. So in 2009, Kirby Estate It's like, hey, the rights are about to revert back to us, right? Because we're co-creators. We got to prove this, right? And one of the things he said last night was, yeah, they get credit. They got credit. They get credit. Read a comic book today. Yeah, read a comic book today, and it will say Fantastic Four created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. It didn't say that till 2014. You know why? This is why. Because the Kirby estate was suing Marvel because Kirby is a co-creator of basically the Marvel Universe, right? And they were like, well, with copyright law, we're about to have a stake in this again, right? And all Kirby ever wanted, Kirby didn't want fame. Kirby didn't want, like, notoriety. Like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was such a far-off dream by the time Kirby died in 94, right? All Kirby wanted was his family to be taken care of. If I'm responsible for this, if I'm partly responsible, I want my family to be taken care of, just like Stan's family is going to be taken care of. That eventually happened. This is what happened. They kept suing, and you wanted to bring up the court cases. Well, they kept losing. Yeah, they did, but this is what happened. They kept moving those court cases up. They would lose one, and they'd move it up higher. They were about to hit the Supreme Court, okay? The Kirby estate versus Marvel, whatever, was about to hit the Supreme Court. 2 days, I believe. I may be wrong on this, but I think it's 2 days before the Supreme Court was about to make the announcement on whether or not they were going to hear this case, which would be a landmark copyright law case. And in copyright law, don't trust corporations at all. Here's one of the reasons why. Well, Disney had just bought Marvel at that time. Y'all know, right? Disney's got a lot of money. But when it was about to hit the Supreme Court, basically, Disney goes, we don't want to be involved in a landmark historical copyright law ruling from the Supreme Court. Now, I'm not saying that the Supreme Court was going to hear the case, but it was very likely that they were. Because this had a lot of implications about copyright law and creatorship, okay? Well, does Disney want, like, valid, good copyright and creatorship laws? Well, hell no. Disney wants to own up all the media that they can, right? And yeah, I'm a shill for Disney. I'll tell you what good Marvel comics and movies there are. I like Disney. I think Disney's fine. They do good product, right? They settled out of court. Part of that settlement was money, right? So Kirby finally got his wish well beyond his death. 20 years after his death, finally got fiscal compensation, monetary compensation for his family. And finally actually started getting creator credit in the comic books. Why did it take till 2014? Someone mentioned the Bill Finger stuff. Same thing with that. Why did it take so long to get that credit? Well, when maybe the Supreme Court's about to make a landmark decision on copyright law, it's better just go ahead and give him what he wanted the entire time, which was a little bit of financial compensation and full-on creatorship. Like the books say that created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, Don Heck, right? It says this stuff now. At the expense of maybe, possibly, some major change in copyright law. Who knows? We'll never know at this point. It would have been a big case. And they got what they wanted, and they settled out of court. Anyway, to say that DC is shady to Alan Moore, but that Marvel is in no way shady to its creators, that's bullshit. That's ignoring all sides of everything. That being said, corporate comics is bullshit for creators. You'll make more money. You can possibly make more money there, but you won't own any of your shit. And you'll wind up like Marv Wolfman trying to get a lawsuit, being like, I never signed a work-for-hire contract when I created Blade. But it doesn't matter, especially now that Disney's behind them. The only thing that ever scared Disney when it came to Marvel was the Jack Kirby estate lawsuit, and they settled that. And they only got scared of that when it was possibly about to go to the Supreme Court. Anyway. So let's to wrap this up. Kirby and Lee are both equally responsible for the success of Marvel, along with people like Steve Ditko, John Buscema, Larry Lieber. Let's not leave Larry Lieber out of this conversation. That's Stan Lee's brother, who probably ghost wrote a lot of his scripts. But Lee and Kirby, man, if that relationship wouldn't have fallen apart, can you imagine? We wouldn't have gotten the New Gods, though. So at least we got the New Gods. Everything happens for a reason. Kirby, creative genius. Lee, marketing genius. Both were responsible for the success of the comic book industry. And once again, here are those pages. You can look this stuff up. These are notes that Kirby made explaining the story and suggesting dialogue to Stan Lee. These are pages from Fantastic Four, but there's many more. So there you go. There you go. I'm sure I missed some comments here. So any thoughts, questions, concerns, anything you want to add, anything else you want to add to distract me from this subject? Feel free, go ahead. Yeah, there was a bit more to the case, but the end results worked out similar. Yeah, I got you. Bill and Me is a good documentary on that. I'll have to check that out. There needs to be a comic show in the vein of Mad Men. I think it would be interesting, maybe two or three seasons chronicling the comic biz. Yeah, that'd be cool. I would love to do something like that. What is that called again? Bill and Me. Is that the Bill Finger, Bob Kane thing? Is that what that's about? And seriously, like LeVar Burton says, don't take my word for it. You can look this shit up. You can look this up. I would highly recommend that you check out the John Morrow. John Morrow is the publisher of Tomorrow's Publishing. They do Jack Kirby Collector. He was a historical witness in those Jack Kirby estate versus Marvel court cases. He is a historian. He's a Kirby historian. He's a comic book historian. And all he does in this book is lay out actual quotes from Lee and Kirby, and also from Rose and from Joan. They're partners. Roger, damn you, Roger. But he just lays out the quotes, and most of the quotes come from Stan Lee because he was obviously more in the public spotlight. He did interviews with Playboy and shit, and all the Jack Kirby quotes come from like interviews with like fanzines and shit. In the PCP Army, I shared an interview with Jack Kirby from 1990, and it's just, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm biased towards Jack Kirby, so like, don't take my word for it. Look this shit up, make your own decision. But ultimately, I think the biggest thing is that it was both and more. It was more than Lee and Kirby. It was more than Lee. It was Lee and Kirby. It was more than Lee and Kirby. It was Lee, Kirby, Ditko, Buscema, Lieber, Heck. I mean, come on, let's keep going. Like, all these creators, John Romita. I mean, John Romita has just as much to do with the success of Spider-Man as Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. You know what I'm saying? He really, really does. So Jerry Conway has a lot to do with the success of Spider-Man. He was the one that, first of all, created Punisher, killed Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's Roy Thomas. How much does Roy Thomas have to do with the success of Marvel? Like, it's a lot of people. Well, what I will not stand for is someone saying DC is shady, but Marvel's not as shady as DC. What, are you kidding me? They're both corporations. They're both shady as fuck. Are you serious? Come on, man. Anyway. As fans, the most important thing we can do is just, continue to support their legacy, right? I'm just glad. I was almost in tears the first time I ever got a comic book that said Fantastic Four created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Actually, it says Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. But I would go the other way around, but it doesn't matter. That's my bias coming in. Olympia is such an homage to New Gods and Jack Kirby. It is. CMA Thunder, and welcome. How are you doing? Someone, yeah, I saw someone mention in the comments, that's one of the reasons why Image happened. Well, Image was a big deal as far as creator rights go. Image was a big deal. Very big deal. Equally as big of a deal in the comic book industry to me is the response in quality, well-written comic books that happen in the mid to late 90s. We're talking about things like James Robinson's Starman. We're talking about Kurt Busiek's Astro City. That was another response to that as well. It was a continuation of that response. And nowadays we're in a better place for creator rights to a point. To a point. But why does Marvel give away so many exclusive contracts? Why is Jonathan Hickman's creator-owned work better than his work at Marvel? Yeah? You like the X-Men stuff right now? Read East of West. Anyway. Image was a big deal in helping artists get it didn't not until Image did people start really as far as creatorship goes, respect the artists. Comic books started in the 30s, y'all. Come on. That's not corrupt. That's not fishy. That's not shady. Mark Goodman is the most shady fucking figure in the comic book industry. Look it up. Look it up. He's a real villain. And I guess the ultimate point is that Stan versus Kirby, they were both amazing. They were both responsible for all of it. The real villain is neither. It's Mark Goodman. Hey, what's up, Comics Misexplained? Yeah, the shades are out. I just went on probably like a 30-minute rant about Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Someone suggested I should pull that out and do a separate video, and I probably should. But I don't want to say like that was brought on by that conversation last night with Comic Book University, but that was in no way a dig at him. Comic Book University, that cat that runs that channel, is very knowledgeable about comic books. I'm Kirby biased. I think he's Lee biased. But Mark Goodman's the big deal. Anyway, let's get some more conversation going before we get into the question of the week. Yeah, Batman and Bill, it's on Amazon Prime. Oh, okay, cool. I have Amazon Prime. Hey, what's up, Comic Sam? How are you doing? When will Vault Comics get more recognized? Well, Nitro, right now, they're getting more and more recognized every single month. It's up to people like me and other people and y'all out there to keep it going. Vagrant Queen is about to be hitting a Sci-Fi Channel this year. Heathen's being turned into a film. Maybe that will help boost it up. But as long as they continue to pump out high-quality independent content, that's going to happen. Now, don't think that just because you're a small press publisher that it's all creator-owned. That's not the case either. Vault doesn't share their contracts. Aftershock doesn't share that shit. They have a stake in it too. But you can't be successful in the comic book industry without working with the corporations or the small presses. You can't do it. Sometimes you got to sign bad deals. Alan Moore signed a bad deal. In hindsight, Alan Moore signed a bad deal. At the time, Alan Moore signed a pretty good deal. And I think Watchmen being kept in print this entire time has been a very beneficial thing to Alan Moore in his career. It's also been very, very beneficial for DC. Not saying anything about that. I see all sides of it. But Mark Goodman's a piece of shit. Whatever. Maybe he was a good dude somewhere. Bill, is that it? Yeah, Professor Bill, right? Yeah, Bill is a good dude. I'm not talking shit about Bill at all. I just wanted to address the Lee Kirby thing, and I thought a Teen Dog Shades night was a good night to do it. I was all geared up to get into some other shit tonight, but this really kind of, yeah. I think the important lesson is that corporate comics, they're shady. Because both DC and Marvel are shady. But corporations are people too, legally anyway. Well, we can argue that, and that's a different channel. All right. Do you think Doomsday Clock was worth it? Yes, by far. I love Doomsday Clock. I think it's a great exploration of the Watchmen's effect on the comic book industry. The Watchmen's impact on the DC universe and the DC's universe's impact on Watchmen. I thought it was amazing. Talking about Bill, the Oscars just nominated Joker for Best Screenplay and crediting Bob Kane, Bill Finger, and Jerry Robinson. It was such a beautiful sight. That's awesome. Can we? Should they also include? I mean, it's a slippery slope. Should we also Conrad Veidt and the cats who made the Man Who Laughs? Very influential on the Joker. But yeah, I think that's super cool. Giving Robinson and Finger credit right along with Kane, big deal. He was a good man in name only. Wow. I like that. Teen Dog Shades. No, I picked up the sarcasm, CMA Thunder. I just didn't want to pull on that thread too much. When the shades go on, the rants come out. Still better than the Oscars. Well, thank you so much. Oh, Lordy. All right. Some announcements. Comics Revisited has a new episode this Friday morning. Me and Brian are talking about the second volume of Sandman, The Doll's House, continuing our look at the esteemed and monumental run in comics of Sandman by Neil Gaiman. This is available right now to our Patreon supporters and subscribers. So if you're over at patreon.com/PCP, you already get to watch this video. Everybody else has to wait till Friday. Anyway, you can join the PCP Army. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at @Rockin Robbie. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on all that stuff. And I want to thank our patrons real quick. David, Alex, Adim, Nelson, Brian, Dean, Jason, Brian, Reggie, Robert, Javi, Peter, Dunlaney, TJ, Manmeet, Timo, and David. Thank you guys so much for your support. We really do appreciate it. Super chats are open. We're nearing the end of the show, though. All support is appreciated, including liking, sharing, subscribing, watching the damn videos. And as of right now, we still have more likes than people in the stream, which means successful live stream, everybody. Everybody give yourself a round of applause, please. You thought Watchmen was okay? It gets better the more you read it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a Moore hater. I'm not a damn Stan Lee hater, to be honest with you. Though I will take every opportunity, usually in my personal life, to let people know who Jack Kirby is. In fact, maybe I'll find this and share it in the PCP Army. But when Stan Lee passed away, some news organizations came to the shop to interview us. And I did a couple interviews, and I made sure to mention Kirby and Ditko as much as possible, while totally giving Lee the credit he deserved. But it was very intentional on my part to mention Kirby and Lee. When I would say Stan Lee, his death is significant because he's a significant person. He, along with others like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, helped create the Marvel Universe that we know and love today. Anyway, look at everybody giving themselves a round of applause. Hell yeah. You got to appreciate yourselves, right? Nobody else is going to do it for you. Oh, man, what a great stream. Hey, CMA Thunder, thank you so much. We really do appreciate that. Awesome evening, Robbie. Well, CMA Thunder, I'm glad to be entertaining, and some people said they learned some things, so that's super, super cool. But like I said, don't just take my word for it. You got to research this stuff for yourselves. Come to your own conclusions. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter, I guess, does it? But we have hit the point now, and it's time for me to let go of some of this hostility at times, because we have hit a point now. See, I just saw this note. Check fiber? What does that mean? I'm going to check the fiber on Basic 4. I forgot to do that. Damn it. Santino's Comics and Moors. I live in the Philippines. Well, hell yeah. Fucking shout out to the Philippines. But I need to let go of some of this hostility that I've carried for a long time now, because Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and company, they do get more recognition than he ever did. It breaks my heart sometimes when I watch Jack Kirby interviews. It just breaks my heart sometimes. Hey man, first time on your life? First time in any live. What? Oh, live stream? Okay, love your channel, bro. Oh, thank you, Angel C. I really do appreciate that. We really do. All right, guys. Another announcement. I said I was going to announce. So the podcast is coming back for 2020. In fact, we're filming our next episode this weekend. It's all about Kevin Smith. He just released a recently new Jay and Silent Bob movie. Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which I haven't watched yet. But like I shouted out before, our good friend Drew hooks everybody up. Lets us borrow his copies, I should say. So I'm going to be watching that soon in the midst of rewatching Lord of the Rings. Thank you, Santino. Yeah, we love comics here too, for sure. It's what we're all about. But the next one's all about Kevin Smith. So, only respond if you don't mind getting a shout out in the next podcast. During our social media segment, what is your favorite Kevin Smith movie? Period. Because the next podcast is all about Kevin Smith. We'll be talking about his movie work, his podcast work, his comic book work, and a whole lot more. What's your favorite Kevin Smith movie? I won't reveal mine because that's part of the podcast. What's your favorite Kevin Smith movie? Let me know right now. We'll get all of this. We'll do some shout outs on the podcast. Some good answers. So what are your favorite Kevin Smith movies? Everybody sound off right now. But once again, I do want to point out that Comic Book University is a great channel here on YouTube about comic books, and definitely worth checking out. Taki616 says Chasing Amy. Reggie says Clerks. Orlando says Dogma. Bruce says none. Nitro says Clerks. Don't worry, Bruce, you still may get a shout out. Comics Misexplained says Mallrats. Scarpad's Comic Trek says best Kevin Smith still has to be Clerks, without a doubt. Others have come close, but that's number one. Eddie says Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I'm noticing all of these are View Askewniverse movies. Anybody like Jersey Girl or Red State or Tusk? I hate those movies. Brian says Clerks / Mallrats. CMA Thunder says Chasing Amy for sure. Ben Affleck. I love Chasing Amy. I love all those movies. Johnny says Dogma. Can't get a better demon made of shit. Yeah, I think Dogma's a great one too. I definitely would say Clerks, Chasing Amy, and Dogma are my holy trinity. Samuel says never seen one. Well, if you're not easily offended, I recommend starting with Clerks and moving on. Hell yeah. Brian says he likes Tusk. I like the first half of Tusk. I hate the second one. Comics Misexplains that Geely. That wasn't Kevin Smith. Cop and a Half was the worst? What are you talking about? Cop and a Half is not Kevin Smith. Are you talking about Cop Out? Herminio says Chasing Amy. Lots of Chasing Amy. That's cool. I love J-Lo, but Jersey Girl fell off after her scene. Roger says Yoga Hosers. I hear bad things about that one. CMA Thunder, Dogma, Alanis Morissette. Yeah, Alanis Morissette is God. I like Kevin Smith's video podcast, Fat Man and Batman. Yeah, that's good stuff. I love the one he did with Grant Morrison. Really good stuff. Yeah, Bruce Willis, Tracy Morgan, that's Cop Out. I haven't seen that one yet. I need to watch that. It's the one that Kevin Smith just directed. He didn't write it. Anybody ever see the Clerks animated series? Clerks animated series is one of my favorite Kevin Smith things ever. And I love his Daredevil run. And his first two Clerks comics, Clerks the comic book, Clerks the holiday special, those are fantastic. Lost Scene's okay with Phil Hester, but the ones he did with Jim Moffitt are amazing. His Jay and Silent Bob miniseries he did with Duncan Fegredo. I have a hardcover copy signed by Fegredo, Smith, and Jason Mewes. I got to see Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith about a year ago. That was super, super fun. Hey, Chris is here. What's up, Chris? Big fan of Kevin as a person, but never been a huge fan of his flicks. Oh, man. I thought you would for sure like Dogma. That's a good one. Chasing Amy. Clerks. Mallrats is fun. The pod is now far man beyond since Kevin is now slim. Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. Fat man beyond. That's funny. That's super funny. That's super cool. I've got a Clerks movie poster signed by Kevin Smith. I've had since the early 2000s. I used to be a huge Kevin Smith fan. All right, everybody, we're about to hit show and tell time. As we do show and tell, get your final thoughts and questions in right now because we're nearing the end of the live stream. For show and tell tonight, I have a pop. I have a Marvel Legend. Both of them will be opened. And I've got a hardcover I'm going to show off. We were talking about creator rights, and I said something like, if you like Hickman's X-Men, read his East to West. Well, last week I showed off in the PCP Army that I had upgraded my Umbrella Academies to the hardcovers. Now I'm doing that with East to West. So I got East to West Year 1 in hardcover. It's like the first 15 issues plus the World One-Shot. All in one. It's oversized. You can see it next to a comic book. See the difference there? It's huge. When will this end? This is going to be ending in a few minutes, Santino, actually. This book is amazing. Jonathan Hickman. This book is over now. It ended with issue number 45. Amazing stuff. Nick Tricota on the artwork. Frank Martin on the coloring. I just wanted to show this off. I am upgrading my East to West collection to these really badass nice hardcovers, which they have 1 and 2 out right now. And they have 1 and 2 out right now, and 3 should be out soon. So I did want to show that off. And we got a pop that we're going to open up, and it's the Lord Zedd pop. My favorite thing about this Lord Zedd pop is that it's number 666 as far as pop television goes, and I think that's super fucking cool. Huh. So let's open it up. Lord Zedd, of course, the villain of Power Rangers Season 2. An American-created Power Rangers villain. And probably the most badass Power Rangers villain outside of King Sphinx. Now, I love me some Lord Zedd. I've had this pop for a minute. We're going to go ahead and open it up. Tonight. Nice pop. Look at that. He's got his staff. He's got the detail. The brain. Look at that. Color's a little pale. Could be a little bit more darker. A little bit more dark. But yeah, that's super cool. So be expecting to see that in the background soon. He wants to be a little top heavy. Yeah, the new Hickman book, Decorum, coming out soon. I'm fantastically excited for that. I just wish that he would also finally do Frontier and Feel Better Now, and also finish, what are those books? Black Monday Murders. And I think Black Monday Murders, speaking of Teen Dog Shades Night, conspiracy theories, I think he may have revealed too much information in Black Monday Murders, and they're putting an end to it. Anyway, that and Dying of the Dead. Decorum's going to be an Image Books, create our own, with Mike Huddleston. Very excited for that. Debuts in March, April, something like that, I believe. I'm super excited. I'm super jealous. A lot of people in the industry, comic book creators, have gotten an early look at it, and I'm just waiting to get my early look. I'm so excited. So I said we're going to do a Marvel Legend. You know, I'm not the biggest Marvel Legend guy, so when I do have a Marvel Legend, it must be something big and significant. Oh, the Doctor Doom. Look at that Doctor Doom. This is the best Doctor Doom figure I have ever seen. And we're going to open it up right now. I didn't pre-cut this. Marvel Legends are doing great stuff. You know, the new Power Rangers Lightning Collection, I got a lot of those to open up, and we'll start opening up those like one a week or something like that. But they just get better. So let's take a look at this Doom figure, because it looks to be the best Doom figure I've ever come out. Let's see. Do you have manga? The only manga I currently own, I don't know if you would count Usagi Yojimbo. Akira. I love Akira, and that's something I have every single book for, and I highly encourage anybody who loves comic books to read this. Yes, this is new this year. It came out. It's part of the Fantastic Four line that they did. I didn't get the whole line. It was a Build-A-Figure Super Skrull, so I got a Super Skrull leg in here. But it is recently released with the new Fantastic Four line. They're in their new costumes, but I got the old ones that they did, the Walgreens ones. I still have those in package up there, so. Do I have Peggy Carter? No. So he's kind of got a classic head, and he's got the old school head. But I love Dr. Doom. Oh, Bruce, I'm right there with you. I want a live act, like I want a full-on life-size Dr. Doom statue as well. So it looks like he has a modern head. You got to get the damn cape out of this thing. At least it doesn't have twisty ties, right? Oh, come on, y'all. So by looks alone, it's like the best looking Doom figure. But I really like that he's got like the more modern looking head, and he's got the classic looking head. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The detail on the costume and everything looks amazing. I know that Bullseye Bob has this too. Let's get it to focus. Doesn't want to focus. Yeah, there it goes. Look at that. Look at that. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's got nice texture on the fabric. It's posable as hell. It looks clean, seamless when you pose it. Let's put the old school head on it and see what happens. Oh, man, that's totally old school. Look at that. Look at that. It's flawless. You put on the new head and it still works. Come on. Come on. You know what we're doing. There you go. Man, that's amazing. Trust me, it looks great. Oh, I got to keep the classic head on it, but the new one looks great too. Scarpath's Comic Trek says, just ordered that Doctor Doom. Hell yeah. And yeah, Taki, it's recently released. Yeah, the OG Doom head is better. But it's both of them look great. Oh, man. That classic, though. God, and it works so well, y'all. That looks amazing. And every Doom figure has to do this, and he does it. Bah! Curse you, Richards! That's an amazing figure. I can't wait to see it without the shades on. Oh, man. I've been looking at my LCS for a figure lately, like the OG Doom. Yeah, man. That looks great. Would love a good Silver Surfer figure, but he's hard to get a good figure of. Not into any I've seen so far. Chris, I think they did a fantastic Silver Surfer figure when they did that Fantastic Four line. They did that one a Walgreens exclusive. I think there was a Fantastic Four, a Silver Surfer in that line around that time. And I hear it's really good. I never picked it up, though. Yeah. Hermione, I have not gotten any of my Fantastic Four pops yet, but I have the entire wave. Well, I got the Sue, actually. I do have the Sue right here. And I got the GameStop exclusive because she's like partly translucent. We'll open that up more. That's one of my next things that I'm focusing on is getting now that I got my Umbrella Academy pop collection, I'm going to get my Fantastic Four pop collection bought and stuff. I got some things to trade in maybe for it. I just got to wait. I keep trading in stuff to Mike at the shop, and I got to give him some time to get some of that stuff ready and processed before I move on to the next. But yeah, that Silver Surfer figure looked pretty cool. Yeah, great pop, all that stuff. All right, any final thoughts, comments, concerns? Get them in right now. We're about to be wrapping up here. I think this was a great live stream, especially a great Teen Dog Shades night. Whenever you see the Teen Dog thumbnail for a live stream, that usually means that I'm going to get a little deep into something. I'm going to rant a little bit. Usually it's about ancient civilizations, aliens, Kabbalah, all kinds of crazy stuff. Oh, man, there was a great Thanos pop they just recently did. It was like an exclusive, I think, somewhere. I think we got it at our shop, but it's the one where he's snapping. Oh, man, what a fantastic. There's a Thanos figure I have right there. Right next to Bartman, as he belongs. Mike says he made room in the case. Well, should I gather some stuff up for this week, Mike? Because I want my Fantastic Four pops. Anyway. Now, we got a lot of Power Ranger figures to open up for the time being too. But yeah, I am getting my Fantastic Four pops very soon. Now that I've got my Umbrella Academies. And after I get my Fantastic Four pops, I think I'm done with pops. That being said, probably not good to promise that. So I'm not going to promise that. Yeah, Mike says it was a previews exclusive, the Thanos. Yeah, it was really nice. It wasn't it tied into how much we ordered of one of the Thanos books or something like that, wasn't it? Yeah, I'll definitely have something ready this weekend, Mike. Not like tomorrow or nothing. I'd have to go through so much shit. Scarpet says you should probably put that Kirby rant out as a standalone vid. I would, but like I did. Maybe it was my mistake, but mentioning the Comic Book University live stream that kind of got me going on this thing. I don't want it to seem like I'm calling him out or nothing because I'm not. Like I really, really think he's a fantastic comic book historian and a great comic book YouTuber who I highly respect. But yeah, maybe I should. Yeah, Zach, I actually got, I'm getting some of those Fantastic Four minis too. At least the Four and Doom and Namor. But I haven't been able to pull the Galactus yet. But Mike, my homie, is always on the lookout for me. He knows what I'm into. And everybody always asks me, how do you get the coolest toys? It's because of Mike. Mike knows what I'm after. Mike knows what I like. He knows I like 80s and 90s toys. He knows what I'm into. The reason why I was able to get that Quicksilver, this Quicksilver right here was pieced together 3 different instances. The Tallyhawk, the cape, and the figure itself. 3 different instances. All 3 of those Mike made possible. So I got to give a big shout out to Mike. Not only is he a photographer extraordinaire and frequent contributor to PCP and the podcast, he's just such a cool friend and a great guy. And really hooks me up, helps me out. Maybe I should just edit that part out. Maybe I should. That's a good idea, maybe. And maybe it'd be a good idea to get people a lot of people would check out that video and maybe realize, oh man, the live streams are the place to be. Especially when I'm wearing the shades, right? Oh, all right. It's been super, super fun tonight, y'all. Once again, I want to bring your attention to the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. PCP will be there. That's me and Justin and Brooks and Jeremy and Drew, members of the Excitable PCP crew. There's Jelani and Holshoe with us. Fantastic stuff. We'll be doing another panel this year. We'll have Liana Kangas as our guest. Brooks will be there as our guest. His hair's not that long anymore, but his beard is just as full. He's great. Comics Revisited returns this Friday with our Sandman Volume 2 look. Me and Brian going deep on Sandman the Doll's House. Patreon supporters have access to it right now. The Birds of Prey movie review is live on the channel right now. Lots of excitement coming up here for the week. We got some advanced reviews. I'm going to be talking about Finger Guns #1. Be talking about Hellfighter Quinn #1 for my homie Jay Sandlin and Mad Cave Studios. So lots of exciting stuff. I appreciate everybody for being here tonight, especially those internationally, like the Philippines, like Santino, and those of us everywhere else. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/PCP, where you can help support this channel and unlock exclusive content like PCP After Hours, early access to Comics Revisited, and an exclusive downloadable audio file of the weekly comic book review available every single week on Tuesday night, hours before it's released here on YouTube. We've had a great night. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate everything. New podcast coming out soon. Continuously putting out the old podcast on YouTube. Our Sports Movies podcast is going to pop up on YouTube here this week. Lots of excitement. I really do appreciate everything from everybody. You can join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. And of course, Pop Culture Philosophers is on Facebook and Instagram as well. I really do appreciate it. I want to thank everybody for rocking with us. Keep on reading, y'all. Keep on living. And keep on remembering Lee and Kirby united. That made the Marvel Universe, along with Ditko, Lieber, and a whole bunch of others. Anyway, thank you guys so much for rocking with us. We're out. Have a good one. Good night.